Hello everyone and welcome to another top 5 records video, and today it is time for another top 50. 1971, and I think the 70s are perhaps the most interesting decade in music because so many new genres are arising and so many brilliant, explosive new faces within genres are happening, and I'm gonna talk about most of them because in this video I'm gonna talk about the 50 best albums from 1971. Without further ado, I'm immediately gonna kick this video off with at number 50, an Elton John album, Madman Across the Water. Now, this record has so many to offer. Um, First of all, beautiful packaging. It feels just like another leather pants, somewhat like a jeans. You know, it looks like jeans. Love the cover here. I found this in a record bin for about €1 years ago. Love the booklet here, and of course the song that mostly, most of all here goes to my heart. Although Indian Sunset is also beautiful, but this is the album with Tiny Dancer. And Tiny Dancer is one of those songs I fell in love with right away after seeing Almost Famous, the beautiful film, core scene with that song. Also, a couple of years ago, Elton John did a new video. Well, there wasn't a video because the song wasn't a hit back in the day. Just the opening track of this album. He made a new video, and it's gorgeous. It adds so much to the romance of that song, and that romance, the Tiny Dance romance, that's just the beginning of a gorgeous album. At number 50, Elton John, Madman Across the Water. At number 49, 1971 is also the year after Deja Vu, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, and the members of Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young just showed what they were worth as musicians solo. Brilliant album from Graham Nash. Songs for beginners. I love this album. I should really try to find a first American pressing. I have a British one that just got stuck to the inner sleeve. So many great songs here. One of my favorites, however, is Military Madness. It's Killing My Country. And in the core, Graham Nash is just a brilliant singer-songwriter. I love his voice. And I love the fact that this record shows him by himself and shows a brilliant, great artist. At number 48, okay, Faces. A nod is as good as a wink to a blind horse. Why this record in this list? Well, I think the Faces, they are such a cool pop band. There's this beautiful vibe going around here, this looseness, this blues influence, and they got a chill, they got an ease, which is so noticeable on this record. I just love the vibe. I read a comment online from somebody who said, this is the ideal record for a Sunday evening while the sun is setting and you're on your porch drinking a can of beer. You know, that vibe, I love it. Faces, a nod is as good as a wink to a blind horse at 48. 47, well, another record that would do really good on a front porch. I do not live in a country with a lot of front porches, but nevertheless, Willie Nelson's Yesterday's Wine. This is one of those peak moments for Willie Nelson. Beautiful songs here. I love the title track, Yesterday's Wine. It's great. Me and Paul, what a beautiful version of that song. So many great songs. On this record, you can hear that he is finding more of the sound and the shape that is making his 70s. And I think Willie Nelson did things to country in the 70s that were essential for the genre and essential to open up to new consumers and a new market. And it gave it an edge. And Yesterday's Wine is a prime moment in setting that step. At number 47, Willie Nelson, Yesterday's Wine. 46, Caravan in the Land of Grey and Pink. Now, I can say a lot about this record, and what I have here is I believe it's a German gatefold. I'm not so sure even. Yeah, it's a first German pressing. It's a gatefold. Um, you know what? Take a look at this. It feels, for me, like a fairy tale, and so does the music. It's magical. In the Land of Grey and Pink. Obviously, this artwork and all, it's this this Tolkien influenced element, which was very interesting in the 70s. A lot of bands were actually influenced by fantasy fairylands, and this record just takes me to a place like that. I love it. Brilliant, brilliant musicianship here. Masterpiece. 46, Caravan in the Land of Pink and Grey. 45, Roy Harper, Stormcock. Now, I don't think a lot of people will immediately recognize Roy Harper. I had to be introduced to him a couple of years ago, and my introduction was the following: "You should buy this album." It was a record salesman who said it. Well, obviously, they say that. I said, "Yeah, but why?" "Well, it's a great singer-songwriter." "I'm not too much in singer-songwriters at the moment. When I was buying this, I wasn't." He said, "Well, the voice on Have a Cigar from Pink Floyd." "Yeah, you like that voice?" "Yeah, that's Roy Harper. He was in the studio. He did the final take. The band members of Pink Floyd could not decide. He did it." "Oh, that's good." This man toured with Led Zeppelin. Why? Because Led Zeppelin in the early 70s were big, big fans of Roy Harper and an essential influence to their music. And they were fans. One of the reasons is this record. This is, I think, his magnum opus with so many incredible. I mean, the musicianship here is just marvelous. He's doing he's doing so many incredible things. Um, this coming from a singer-songwriter, it will blow your mind. Very difficult, very technically challenging, gorgeous voice. Go out and buy yourself Roy Harper Stormcock. It's incredible. At number 45. At number 44, another singer-songwriter. This one a little bit more famous, luckily. Melanie with Gather Me. This is perhaps not the best Melanie 70s album. Melanie made brilliant records in the late 60s and the early 70s. This is the one with Brand New Key. Well, you may know Brand New Key. "I got a brand new pair of roller skates. You got a brand new key. I'm thinking we should get together and try them out. You see," I mean, I love the melody there. It's brilliant lyrically. Some people thought it was about something else. Not even the best song here. Best song on this album for me is "Some Say I Got Devil." Just the way it flows, her voice, the quality, the lyrics. There's a mystery and a knowledge to it. And that is what Melanie was all about. Melody and mystery, knowledge, and sometimes a sense of humor. But the sense of humor is not so much in that song. Uh, Some Say I Got Devil, but that tension, it's gorgeous. It was later covered by Morrissey, and Morrissey does a brilliant job. This one goes straight to your soul. At number 44, Melanie, Gather Me. At number 43, soundtrack, Isaac Hayes, Shaft. I mean, this record rocks. All rocks. It's funk, it's soul, it has such a gorgeous atmosphere. I mean, I love the intensity here. I actually went to the cinema a couple of years ago because I love the soundtrack so much, and there was this 35mm screening of this record. I want to see it, and okay, yeah, it's okay, it's okay. The movie's just not as good as the soundtrack. Brilliant, brilliant job by Isaac Hayes here. At number 43, number 42, the Rolling Stones, started their own label, and one of the first things they did was invite over one of their big iconic heroes to do a record in London. And that's this Howlin' Wolf's The London Sessions. Now, you get a bunch of brilliant songs. For example, I Ain't Superstitious and The Red Rooster, in brilliantly recorded. It's very different from his chess recordings because this is a lot more slick. The production is a lot better. And there is this diversion, is that the right word? A blend of sounds because Howlin' Wolf is performing here with Steve Winwood, Bill Wyman, and Charlie Watts from the Rolling Stones. I mean, that combination. And Eric Clapton on guitar. I mean, that is magic. That is true magic at 42. Howlin' Wolf, The London Sessions. Number 41. Another important moment for the Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young after Deja Vu, because David Crosby here does the same thing Graham Nash did with Songs for Beginners. Show the world that when he was by himself, he could make a brilliant, beautiful, gorgeous record, and that his voice, it works so well. It is so good. Brilliant record. Now, this is the first American cut. Try and find that. Leave the Mo-Fi behind. I did a video about a comparison there. This is, love it. Number 41, David Crosby, If I Could Only Remember My Name. Then we go to the number 40. Yes, and I left it out. That was bad. But here I have it. At number 40, yes, The Mothers of Invention live at Fillmore East. I think this is one of the most interesting Frank Zappa live albums. Why? There's a playfulness here. The Mothers of Invention are having so much fun, and he is in this period in which he is looking at the early 70s music scene and he's reflecting on it. And one of the most fun reflections there is the Mud Shark song. It's here. The Mud Shark incident. The Mud Shark tells the story of the Mud Shark incident, which for censorship reasons I cannot explain, but it involves a mud shark, John Bonham of Led Zeppelin, a groupie, an 8mm camera, and somebody who wanted to make an erotic film. Yes, Zappa sings about that here. It's hilarious. Also, you get a song like Willie the Pimp, done in 2 parts. And eventually you get Peaches and Regalia, but also Happy Together, because some of the original members of the Turtles joined Frank Zappa. I believe it's Flo and Eddie, right? Flo and Eddie. Incredible record. At number 40, The Mothers, Fillmore East. At 39, Tony Joe White. If you have never heard of Tony Joe White, buy this album, put it on, and fall in love with the beautiful, distinct voice, deep, dark voice of his that takes over your living room. The way it sounds, the way it's recorded here, it's just completely unique. I'm always in doubt. Should I put this in country? Should I put it at folk? Should I put it in blues? All these influences are there, but he makes his music almost a genre of his own. Tony Joe White, self-titled record. At 39. At 38, Sly and the Family Stone. There's a riot going on. I have been looking for this record for the past 5 or 6 years, and it was only last year that I found it in, I believe, Brooklyn. It sounds incredible. It's a beautiful, fierce album by Sly and the Family Stone. Masterpiece within the soul funk genre. At 38, Sly and the Family Stone. There's a riot going on. And here we move to number 37. Cale. Naturally. The most magnificent thing about this album is the vibe GD Cale creates here. I was in a conversation last weekend about artists who could find calm and cool in their voice, and I named Mississippi John Hurt as one of the heroes of the genre. Putting this on this morning, I could knock myself to the head for forgetting G.G. Cale in that conversation, because the calm, the control, a certain country influence, but it never goes all the way. Just as with Tony Joe White, a vibe of its own is created. It's gorgeous, it's smooth, it's a masterpiece. At 37, G.G. Cale, naturally. Now, 36, Paul McCartney, Ram. This record, I think it's one of the best Paul McCartney solo albums. Paul and Linda McCartney, actually, they are credited together on the label here. Paul and Linda McCartney. A lot of great songs. Long Haired Lady. Going through this, so many good songs. There's a brilliant vibe going on here. Dear Boy, Legs. My favorite one is Uncle Albert. Uncle Albert sounds like a forgot Beatles song, but it's more than just a. This goes beyond the idea of missing out on the Beatles. It's just Paul McCartney's on fire here. Great record at 36. At 35. Yes, the Yes album. It took me quite some time to get into Yes. The first time I listened to Fragile, I didn't fully understand it. Later on, I started to love that record. I love that record. But then a new person, a musician actually, moved into the house I was living in, student house. And he borrowed me this record. And I was like, I'm not so much of a Yes fan. He said, well, listen to the Yes album. Great. Just beautiful, inviting, great songwriting. Whew. This is the good stuff. At number 35, the Yes album. We continue. At number 34. Also took me quite some time to find this one. Fela Ransome Kuti and the Africa 17 with Ginger Baker. Now, Fela Kuti is a master. A master. His beat, the timing, the incredible power when you hear him and the Africa 70 perform is just stunning. Then on this record, they collaborate, not on all the songs, but on some of the songs with Ginger Baker, the drummer from Cream. Oh man, this is a stunning, stunning adventure. And what a year of music. If you would have lived in 1971 and you could go to the record shop and you find stuff like this new, so many stuff to discover. Brilliant. Brilliant. The beat is just, there is so much to discover in a beat. And it happens here. 34. Fela Kuti, the Africa 70, and Ginger Baker live. At number 33, actually at number 33, I have an album which I do not own yet on vinyl. It is Comus' first Utterance. The only record here that I do not own. Why? Well, I have been looking for it for the last couple of weeks. I found it a week ago at the record fair in the Brabanthalle. I thought, let's have a look. And before I could even get close, I saw the price. 800 euros. 800 euros. I said, yeah, it's a great record. It's a great record. Yeah, but I want to discover it on vinyl. I said, yeah, well, €800 is a lot of money to discover it. I said, yeah, I don't have 800 with me, nor am I going to spend $800 for a record. I said, well, the reissue is great. So today I went into the record store. They didn't have it, but they ordered the reissue for me for €27. So happy with that. And I listened to this masterpiece digitally. I always want to listen to it on vinyl for the first time, but I just, and because there's magic in vinyl. There's magic in vinyl. And I get more emotionally attached to it when I hear it on vinyl. But I listen to it on Spotify, and this one even works on Spotify. Man, this is progressive folk, psychedelic folk. There are so many sounds and noises happening. And right now I'm a filmmaker. I'm writing a horror movie, actually a werewolf movie. My first desire is to get that record as a soundtrack because it would smoke for a horror movie. Masterpiece. Comus' first Utterance. And as soon as I have the vinyl, I'll try to do a video about that reissue on this channel. Okay, let's move forward. Number 32, Emerson, Lake and Palmer with Tarkus. This is so much a product of its time. And I mean it in a very good way. There's this early 70s vibe that you can also hear on the Yes album. The progressive rock movement was doing so many interesting stuff. Tarkus is one of its highlights. A powerhouse, a time machine. I love it. At number 32, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Tarkus. At number 31, one of the big guns. When you take a look at lists like Rolling Stones lists or any list with regard to the best live albums ever, this is always ranked among the top. And I'm talking about the Allman Brothers live at Fillmore East. There's a vibe here. There's a vibe that is just completely beautifully stunning. There are guitar solos that are just so amazing. Masterpiece. At number 31, the Allman Brothers, Fillmore East. Moving towards number 30 here. So, yes. At number 30, time for some Beach Boys. Surf's Up. The title track, Surf's Up, is actually part of the songs Brian Wilson was writing at the time of the Smile sessions. It's just incredible that song, it's a gorgeous work of songwriting, did not end up on the Smile sessions, but it is the heart of a beautiful, moody, atmospheric piece of work by the Beach Boys. I think this ranks among the best the Beach Boys have done, and it is one of their most challenging new progressive records. I love it. At number 30, the Beach Boys, Surf's Up. Number 29, an early Alice Cooper album. Love It to Death. Here you can hear an Alice Cooper before, how can I say this correctly? Before the grand horror vibe that I also love. I mean, I love Billion Dollar Babies, I love School's Out. When I put this on, I hear an early 70s American band with a beautiful, raw vibe in the studio. I'm 18. Such a great recording. I love the voice of, well, I can't say Alice Cooper. Well, I can say it because later on, the vocalist bought the name Alice Cooper, and now Alice Cooper is actually the singer. But at this time, Alice Cooper was the name of the band. Love the sound here. Love the texture. So beautiful, raw, dry, but full sounding early 70s American hard rock, shock rock, whatever you can call it. Love it. At number 29, Alice Cooper, Love It to Death. At number 28, one of the best folk albums out there. Or is it folk? It's again a blend of different genres. Gene Clark, White Light. There's a folk influence, there's a country influence. And this is a hypnotizing, gorgeous, gorgeous masterpiece. It's intimate. It sounds stunning. I actually did a video on my channel in which I compared this US original to the Kevin Gray remastered recent edition. Well, I won't tell you the outcome. You should check the video. But this is fireplace. Challenging fireplace. Smart fireplace. It's gorgeous. At number 28, Gene Clark, White Light. At number 27, Chris Christopherson, The Silver-Tongued Devil and I. Okay. Chris Christopherson, he passed away about a year ago, and I just made a mention about Willie Nelson and his contribution to country. I think the same should be said about Chris Christopherson. His songwriting was so skillful, so brilliant, and this is the story. This is the record that really got me into country, that really got me into Chris Christopherson. Opening with The Silver-Tongued Devil and I, and his beautiful, deep voice, and there's always this tiny element of insecurity there, because you notice it mostly live, but you can even hear it on the record, because tone-wise he might be searching, and I love that element of searching tone-wise, and that slight insecurity in that deep, masculine, lovable, even gentle voice. Joey and the Kid, brilliant song. Loving Her was easier than anything I'd ever do again. The lyrics, the melody, it's so incredible good. When I Loved Her, so good. The Pilgrim, chapter 33, and his final song, Epitaph, Black and Blue, that's about Janis Joplin. He had a short relationship with Janis Joplin, and they were both struggling with alcohol. And in the song Epitaph, he looks back at her life. And just mentioning it, I get goosebumps. Man, that is songwriting beyond any other level. Check it out. Pause the video, check out the song Epitaph, Black and Blue, and you know what I'm talking about. And you will most probably buy his record if you haven't bought already. He was a genius, Chris Christopherson. At 27, The Silver-Tongued Devil and I. At 26, Curtis Mayfield with the album Roots. This is at the core one mighty fine and brilliant soul album. One of those records that was steering, deciding in the sound-wise for the genre, and Curtis Mayfield is just one of those great, brilliant musicians. He made so many incredible albums, and this Roots, it's among his best. 1971 is such a rich year that just at a place like 26, you can find a record that has such a deeply influential root. Man, I love it. At 26, Curtis Mayfield. At number 25, we're talking about some prog rock again. Genesis with The Nursery Crime. Not The Nursery Rhyme, The Nursery Crime. This is the record that for me started my Genesis journey. And I should make a top 5 video with Genesis records. This may rank at the top or just at number 2. Why? The song The Nursery Crime. The way it develops. It has this epic, gorgeous quality. There's a macabre element there that Genesis is not afraid to intertwine. It is so British. It's so nice. It has such a gorgeous atmosphere. Even if it was just for the title track, this should be in this video. Genesis, The Nursery Crime, a masterpiece. At number 25. At number 24, Another live album, and one that deserves this spot. Aretha Franklin, Fillmore West. Treat yourself and put this on. Because Aretha Franklin climbing on that stage and going live. I mean, I love Aretha Franklin on the studio albums. She has one of the best voices ever recorded, obviously. But live, she's much freer. And there is so much going on here. Opening with Respect. Then she does a version of Stephen Still's Love the One You're With, which I'm not a fan of the lyrics of that song, but she smokes it. Then you get Bridge Over Troubled Water, Eleanor Rigby, Dr. Feelgood, one of the best live albums ever. Aretha Franklin, 24 with the Fillmore West show. At number 23, Harry Nilsson with Nilsson Schmilsson. When the Beatles came to America in 1968, they were asked, "What's your favorite musician in America?" And all of them answered, Harry Nilsson. Harry Nilsson befriended two of the Beatles, Ringo Starr and John Lennon, and they formed the Hollywood Vampires, a club of extreme drinkers. And Nilsson has this beautiful, sweet, soft, pure voice. He started doing screaming contests with John Lennon to mess things up. But this was recorded before those screaming contests. And you hear one of the most beautiful, I'm going to use the word again, masterpieces from the world of pop music. A lot of great songs like Coconut and Let the Good Times Roll. And It's Hard. There is Without You. His cover version of Without You. I Can't Live If Living Is Without You. Maddening good. At 23. At 22, John Prine's self-titled John Prine. What I'm holding here is the Atlantic 75 45 RPM, which makes this record even sound better. John Prine has been called the Mark Twain of country music because he can tell you stories about people that are pretty often overlooked in pop music or even sometimes in country music, because he understands an emotional freedom within an intellectual simplicity and sees the poetry and the romance in that. Now, that is the work of a true artist and a brilliant writer. That's what John Prine does here. If you listen to a song like Hello in There, you're sold. At number 22, John Prine. Number 21, Aqualung, one of the masterpieces of progressive rock. Jethro Tull is nailing it. Putting this on is diving into a beautiful world. Gorgeous sound. It's still, after almost 54 years later actually, fresh, challenging, brilliant. At number 21, Jethro Tull, Aqualung. Moving towards the top 20 now. Now, I didn't pick this one out of the closet. I forgot to put it. I have it on record, but I'm not going to walk to. This is one of my record closets. I have another one in the hallway, and there's the country. And at 20, I have Dolly Parton, Coat of Many Colors. Gorgeous album. The title track moves me to tears, and I actually made a top 5 of Dolly Parton albums in another video. You can check it on my channel. Moving on from 20 to 19, Pearl by Janis Joplin. So, what can I say about this album? Opening with Move Over, then you get Cry Baby, Buried Alive in the Blues, and side 2, you got Me and Bobby McGee, the Chris Christopherson song, which Chris Christopherson, before he wrote Black and Blue Epitaph, he didn't know she recorded it. So he was sitting at a club. I'm not sure if he knew whether she has passed away or not. I believe he knew that she had passed away, and then he suddenly heard she recorded his song. I mean, that emotional moment of that Mercedes-Benz. So many brilliant, brilliant songs here. Brilliant album. And in about a week, I'm going to do a comparison between this first American pressing and first UK pressing and the MoFi One Step sound-wise. So if you're interested in that, you can follow my channel, of course, if you'd like. At number 18, Leonard Cohen, Songs of Love and Hate. We're in the top 20, and this may well be, I'm not sure, I did a top 5 video on Leonard Cohen. This is definitely in the top 5. It's high up in the top 5 because he's playing with darkness here. He's playing with lyrics of that have so many power. Taking a look here at the track list, opening with Avalanche, masterpiece of songwriting. Then Dress Rehearsal Rag, that's a masterpiece of songwriting. And ending this side one with Diamonds in the Mine. I think that's one of the most overlooked songs. An element, a master. How do I say this? It's a very witty, interesting song within his career, often overlooked. It should get more credit. Famous Blue Raincoat. That's also on here. You know what? I'm putting this aside. After this video, I'm going to be listening to some Leonard Cohen because I listen to this too little. I have so many records when I'm doing a video like this. That you hold in your hands and think, oh, I should give it more love. I should give it more. It deserves so much more attention. Same can be said for this one at number 17, Joni Mitchell, Blue. I could drink a case of you. Me talking to it, Joni Mitchell's Blue. Brilliant song after brilliant song after brilliant song. One of the best albums in the world of singer-songwriters. And while I'm saying that, I just put away one of the best albums in the world of singer-songwriters. And while I'm saying that, I'm going to grab another record, which is one of the best in the world of singer-songwriters. Nick Drake, Brighter Lighter, at number 16. Nick Drake's voice will haunt you. He has so much things to say, and he sounds so insecure, but he invites you into his world, into his thought processes, into the atmospheres, into his observations, which has it's so gorgeous and heartbreaking as well. His story. There's a beautiful Dutch documentary made about him, A Skin Too Few. And the sound designer of that documentary actually lives across from me here in Amsterdam, across the street. Masterpiece. If you're interested in Nick Drake, first of all, go and listen to this record. Second, watch that documentary. I believe it's even online. Brilliant, brilliant album. At number 16, Nick Drake, Brighter Lighter. At number 15, John Lennon, Imagine. You know what? Should I say more about Imagine? Nah, you can check out my John Lennon video. I'm spending too much time already talking because I don't want to make this video a lot longer than 50 minutes. You know, Imagine is great. And otherwise, check my John Lennon video. At number 14, Carole King, Tapestry. The same I said about these other records. Singer-songwriters who have been in such an incredible shape of writing. Here, take a look at Carole King, You've Got a Friend, Smackwater Jack, Tapestry, Will You Love Me Tomorrow, just to mention some. She was on fire. I just recorded a video in which I compare a first US original to the MoFi One Step. Stay tuned on this channel. I'll release it in about a week or so. Love this album. At number 13, Can, a German band, and at the core, one of the masterpieces of krautrock, Tago Mago. Now, this is a double record that has Side 1 and side 2 are a lot more inviting than side 3 and 4, but all are equally brilliant. They are doing things within the world of rock. There is a freedom, there is a sound that is just incredible. At number 13, Can Tago Mago. At number 12, I'm going for some heavy metal here. Black Sabbath, Master of Reality. Master or Masters? No, Master. Listen to Embryo. Listen to Children of the Grave. To Sweet Leaf. To Into the Void. To Solitude. I mean, the first 4 or 5 years, Black Sabbath was operating on the level of songwriting and recording as the Beatles in the last 5 years. They only were working in a different genre, but Black Sabbath are the Beatles of metal music. And when you put this on, you know why. At number 11, moving towards French. How do you say this? Serge Gainsbourg, History de Melody Nelson. History de Melody Nelson. A concept album by Serge Gainsbourg about him hitting a woman, or actually a girl, she's very young here, with a car, and then having an affair. Well, that's the kind of story that today would get you cancelled. Yet, Serge Gainsbourg is not cancelled. Serge Gainsbourg makes a psychedelic funk masterpiece that sounds so good, so sweet, so brilliant. At number 11, sweet musically, by the way. Not about that love story. I used the word sweet for the sound of the music. Going to the top 10. The Doors, LA Woman. The Doors are on fire here, having songs like The Changeling, Lover Madly, LA Woman, The Wasp, and ending off with one of the biggest epics ever recorded. Riders on the Storm. Need I say more? At number 10. At number 9, The Masterpiece by Mark Bolan. T-Rex Electric Warrior. Got Cosmic Dancer here. Oh, I want to listen to this song after this video. Oh man, yeah, this is so good. Yeah. I'm putting it in my. This is gonna go first. Jeepster, girl, I'm just a Jeepster for your love. Get it on. Oof. Rip off. Oh, so many great songs. First UK pressing. It sounds amazing. At number 9, T-Rex Electric Warrior. At number 8, Who's Next by The Who. Bubba O'Reilly, opening with Bubba O'Reilly, another epic. This record has epics. It has Bubba O'Reilly and Won't Get Fooled Again. Now, those are some of the biggest epic songs from the 70s, and I think biggest epics in the world of rock. But you also got Bargain, My Wife, The Song Is Over. I love the way Pete Townsend sings it, getting in tune, going mobile behind blue eyes. Oh man, any other year this would have been at number 1, but 1971, it's just a very, very good year. At number 8. At number 7, one of the most important moments for Pink Floyd, Metal. Now, Metal has so much to offer. It is an album of a dreamlike quality. Opening with One of These Days, which is just incredible. Fearless, it's so good. And Seamus, I love that song. But side 2 is where they started to find out what they were all about. This record has metal. And metal is pure epic madness. It is like you are taking a trip amongst the stars. The sweetness of the voices. The beautiful melodies. This was later used by Andrew Lloyd Webber for the Phantom of the Opera. Da 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 da, ba 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 ba. Slower, it's echoes. I love it. Now, what I'm holding here is the Harold T. Moss mastering. It's not the first pressing, the Harold T. Moss mastering. And if you're gonna buy this record, the British HTM Harold T. Moss pressing will be a guaranteed incredible sound experience. If you do not love it already, you will love it. At number 7, Pink Floyd Metal. We're moving now to number 6. Oh man, is this just at number 6? Yeah, it's just at number 6. Yet any other year, this would have been at number 1. Pink Floyd, the Rolling Stones. The Rolling Stones, Sticky Fingers. Oh man. Where do I begin with this album? You know what? I'm just gonna take out the record. Watch out for the zip here. I did a video on the sound quality of this album. You can check my channel, and you might find it interesting. Opening here with Brown Sugar. I mean, what an opening track. Then Sway. Good song. It's a good song. Brown Sugar is brilliant. Sway is a good song. Wild Horses. The song Dylan said, I wish I wrote that. Bob Dylan said, I wish I wrote Wild Horses. I mean, and then Can't You Hear Me Knocking? And ending this side with You Gotta Move. Nice blues rock, so sweet. Then you get the side 2, Bitch. I Got the Blues, Sister Morphine. Masterpiece of a ballad. Dead Flowers, Moonlight Mile. Oh, the Rolling Stones were on fire. That's so interesting. There was always this challenge between the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. And when the Beatles just they broke up, it's not as if the Rolling Stones disappeared. The Rolling Stones had some of their highlights, and they found their true nature. One of those records is Sticky Fingers. Obviously. At number 5, this might be controversial, but anyone who hasn't listened to this one, pause this video, check out the rest later, and start listening to Mickey Newbury, Frisco Mabel Joy. Now, who is Mickey Newbury? I will do a top 5 video about Mickey Newbury in the near future. Mickey Newbury is, together with Elvis Presley, the name that in 1968 got the best record deal from RCA, I believe in Nashville. I believe it was RCA. Yeah, signed by RCA. They both got the best deals at that time because they wanted to sign the biggest names in Nashville, Elvis and Mickey Newbury. And seldom has an artist been covered as often as Mickey Newbury has. On this record opens with An American Trilogy, which you may know in its rendition by Elvis Presley, but he has so many incredible songs. And nobody, not a single artist, beats Mickey Newbury in his own performances. Because he sets an atmosphere. He produces a soundscapes, guitar playing, a voice that is telling a story that is inviting you into the big story of America. It is of a dreamlike quality. It is as if you're opening a novel. He is the F. Scott Fitzgerald of American music, Mickey Newbury. And this concept album, this story, it will go into your soul. Once you put it on, you cannot get the needle out of there. He's taking you along the ride through his America. And it's beautiful. At number 5, Mickey Newbury, Frisco Mabel Joy. At number 4, David Bowie, All Is Hunky Dory. What can I say? I did a top 10 video about David Bowie about a week ago, and I'll keep it short here. Changes, Oh You Pretty Things, Live on Mars, Cooks, Quicksand, Andy Warhol, Queen Bitch and the Bewley Brothers. Just to name some of the songs here. Does it get any better than that? Seldom. David Bowie, Hunky Dory. At number 3. No, at number 4. At number 3. Well, What's Going On? Marvin Gaye. What can I say about this record? Marvin Gaye was reflecting on the times, reflecting on his friends, on his family, on his society, and reflecting on Vietnam. And he asked the question, what's going on? And you get one of the best, perhaps the most iconic soul album ever made. What's Going On? At number 3. I'm going to put the most iconic funk album for me at number 2. Funkadelic, Maggot Brain. There is so much beauty within these grooves that it's hard to describe. The entire record is brilliant, obviously. But the song, the title track, Maggot Brain, it's such a tremendous trip, and there is nothing in the world that sounds like it. It's such a wild, gorgeous trip. A masterpiece of guitar playing and all in all, atmosphere, building a song, the layers. I have listened to it so many times. A masterpiece number 2. And at number 1, the best album of 1971. Led Zeppelin 4. Now, what can I say that has not been said yet? I can't say anything because this is one of the big ones, but I'm gonna give it a shot here. When you open with Black Dog, and it's a banger, you got my attention. And after the first track, you always want to cool down, but not Led Zeppelin. After Black Dog, you get rock and roll, and it's even higher, it's even louder, it's even better. And then the Battle of Evermore. Is that all on one side? Is it front loaded? No, because side 1 ends with Stairway to Heaven. Magic. Pure, gorgeous magic. And that's just side 1. Side 2, Misty Mountain Hop, 4 sticks, going to California. And When the Levee Breaks. 8 songs of undeniable, uncontrollable quality. Led Zeppelin at its best. Yeah, I'll say it. Led Zeppelin at its best. I did a video in which I'm ranking all the Led Zeppelin albums, but I can say this is also at number 1 at the ranking Led Zeppelin records. So I'm curious. This is my top 50. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave a comment below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.